All right, we live?
We live.
Good week for the Giants.
Great week for the Giants.
Great week.
Bad week for the Jets.
Always.
Weird week for Dallas.
No, I would say it's a good week for us.
Okay, I'll give you
Did
that.
you say that tie was a Dallas win?
Oh, yeah, especially against Packers. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Did you see it was
And with all of our injuries, too.
But the Dallas was home, right?
Dallas was home.
Yeah.
There was a stat. It was like, out of all the games where a home team has scored 40 or more points with no turnovers, they are like 300-0, except for this weekend.
Yeah.
Now they're 300-0-1, and that includes playoffs. So in the Super Bowl tracking era, 40 points and no turnovers at home has been a 100% win rate, except for the Cowboys.
That's crazy.
Dallas looked amazing on Sunday night.
Especially, like, dude, we had two
looked
guys
great.
on our O-line hurt. CeeDee Lamb was out. Multiple injuries to our defense, obviously, and that's a disaster.
We got
But
holes in defense.
yes, we do. But Dak looked great, man. Like, he's playing at
He
a
made some
really, really
throws
high
where I was
level.
like, holy
I didn't
crap.
Yes.
watch, but was Mika was he on one?
He was definitely on one, but he pressured him a couple times. But I was expecting way more,
Yeah.
for what's the word I'm looking for? Like anger
Yeah.
towards the Cowboys, but he wasn't. He was okay.
He's also dealing with a back injury, too.
Yeah.
So I think that's
He's still,
kind of-
even with that back injury, he
Yeah,
looks
he's still a
phenomenal.
freak, yeah.
Now, I wonder how the Cowboys would have done against our current New York Giants.
Ooh,
Now, we did lose Malik Neighbors.
that was pretty gross.
They have to get rid of the turf now.
Did you put last night? Did you see with Tyreek Hill? How
Yeah,
he
he was so
exploded?
happy.
That was gross.
He was so happy.
That was
Yeah,
gross.
that
Yeah.
do you think his career's over?
No, but he's definitely not going to be
His
the same
season's
guy.
over,
His
yeah.
season's for sure over. I'm sorry, but go ahead, man. League neighbors. Sorry.
Well, no, because the thing is, it's funny with Tyreek Hill is like, obviously he's a tremendous overall wide receiver, but like your number one thing is that like you're just the fastest guy on the field at all times, and even when you come back, severely doubt you're gonna be the fastest guy on the field anymore. Couple that with your bad attitude, because he has like a shitty attitude kind of.
And multiple baby mamas.
And and the 9 kids you have from 8 different people that you got to pay for. I imagine he goes the way of like an Odell Beckham.
he
Of
just
like you're
drifts
going to
away,
drift
yeah.
into a couple of teams, and they'll be like maybe he'll go to the Ravens, like, oh, now Lamar's got a guy,
Yeah.
and then he won't do anything, and he's just going to kind of fall into that of like, not Odell. I think was a lot more of like a what could have been, because his prime was wasted on like a Giants team that like just didn't perform and all these things. Tyreek did, like, he had his moment in the sun. He won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. Like, he did his career already. He's probably a Hall of Famer, most likely.
Yeah.
But his attitude is, he's just like, he doesn't care.
That's like his number one asset is his speed and his legs, and like that's a major.
Yeah, it's one thing if you like pull the back muscle, but
he
like,
dislocated it and then like shredded multiple ligaments where he
Yeah.
needs for surgery. Like that's gonna be tough to come back from. I
Exactly.
mean, who knows? With today's technology, he might
exactly.
be fine.
But look at Aaron Rodgers. He wanted to play in the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs last year, but he was ready. I think the Giants, especially because they have new partial owners, didn't matter, like sell off a portion. They now have to look like, all right, between Neighbors, and don't forget, MetLife is not just them, it's also the Jets. So it's like I'm guessing it's like a combined thing. Neighbors, Aaron Rodgers, Saquon Barkley. How much money are we losing by keeping this turf as opposed to what it will cost us to just put in grass? Like, it can't be that big of an expense because plenty of other fields are still using grass.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not like it's an unheard of thing.
Can I tell you what they do in Premier League really quick? Because I think it's genius. So what they have is like they have regular turf, like pitches, fields.
Yeah.
It's 95% grass and then 5% artificial turf. And it basically like goes around, and it's just like a much more hardier, much more durable type of grass. And then the sidelines is turf.
Yeah.
So it's like, why can't they just do that? Like I'm sure
they
it's a
have
lot
to
of
look
money,
into
but
it. I can't, like, honestly, it's just a lot of money in maintenance, but like, that was a maintenance thing that like the Yankees still have grass. Like, it's not like a weird thing. It's not like you're going back to using like a Model T Ford. It's like you're going back to using something that still most professional outdoor sports are still utilizing. Like, I don't understand the constant complaints from your own players, your own fans. Like, in my mind, if you're a team that just has consistent trouble performing, this is an easy win for you guys. Take this, and then, dude, they can do it in a week. Go, all right, we're going to put grass down. It'll satiate the fans, and then guess what? If we lose next week, they won't have this to blame anymore.
Yeah.
It's like an easy win for you to just put grass out there.
You only listed the players that were on the Giants and Jets. There was, I think I sent you guys some. There was a list of players since 2020, like Nick Bosa, like other players coming into MetLife and hurting themselves on the turf. That, I think they just have to get rid of it, because I still feel like the Giants are going to be fun to watch for the most part, but I wanted to see Dart and Neighbors. Now I'm going to be seeing Dart and Scatterboo and Wandell Robinson, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I wish that they would just change it, because I think that is very detrimental to wide receivers, because there's not a lot of wide receivers built like Calvin Johnson.
Right.
A lot of wide receivers are average height. They're still strong and they're built, but most of them are really skinny. Like Garrett Wilson looks like a string bean, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about Dart's premiere? It wasn't like the greatest, but I think it was exactly what the Giants and the Giants fans needed. It showed enough. First of all, it was a win, and I don't know what their end of the year record was last year, but like it's probably their first win in like 6 or 7 overall games.
I think they only won 3 games last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was talking to my buddy about this Sunday afternoon. I think the Giants specifically, like, you look at most New York teams, right? You could probably fill me in on the Rangers. Every New York team, professional sports team, has like that asshole on the team.
Right.
Like Jalen Brunson is an asshole on the court. You know, like I feel like I don't know much about the Yankees I feel like Pete Alonso has that, like, and I don't mean like in a negative way, just like that guy that's going to go out there and like just disrupt, you know, or just kind of like put fire under their ass. I think you have that in Scatterboo. You saw that the first 3 games that he, you know, there was a game against the Cowboys when he like grabbed Russell Wilson and he's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'd never see a rookie do that.
Yeah.
I think Dart, you know, during I think the spring, you were sending me those Gruden camp videos, and he was on one of them, and Gruden's like, you have to stop running. You have to, or they're like, what's your count when you're at the line of scrimmage? What's your count? And he just claps, and Gruden's like, that's it. Oh, you might have a hard time in the NFL. I just think he has the
panache.
Swagger, the panache.
Yeah, swagger is a great word.
Quarterback.
He's got that dog in him.
Yeah,
he's got that dog.
And I think that's the word. I don't like, because for the Yankees, I would say it's Aaron Judge, but Aaron Judge is like nowhere near like an asshole. But I think it's like you need someone who's like gonna find it.
I think it's a mixture
Aaron
of
Boone, though, for the Yankees.
But you need someone who's gonna go deep and find it.
I think it's a mixture of being an asshole, but also like the face of the team. Like Mark Sanchez for the Jets years ago with that gritty defense, he was the pretty boy who could play quarterback, right? Eli never was that, but Eli obviously won. Daniel Jones always just, when he was with the Giants, he always just kind of looked like a lost puppy dog. I think the way Jackson Dart carries himself, you know, the chain, the apparel, the equipment, I know people might laugh at it, but like he's just bringing that, like, because I don't like the Giants being a laughing stock on Monday morning across the sports media landscape. I don't like it. I want to root for a team that's not a laughing stock. And I think if they keep winning, or if he keeps looking good, and, you know, yeah, he might have 112 passing yards, 70 rushing yards. As long as you're not turning the ball over, like, that's all I care about.
Right. I think definitely every New York team, but every team, I think it comes down to this. They need someone that they can put hope into. Well, even if this game wasn't good, like we have...
Sorry about that.
We have this guy, and when he's good, he's good. Like, you know, Eli Manning, again, he wasn't flashy or whatever, but, like, we knew going into a game that if the game was on the line because of Eli, most likely he could pull it out, which he did. Unfortunately, his last 2 years, there was like nothing he could do. Like it didn't come down to Eli a lot of those times. It was crappy defense, terrible coaching, no weapons, you know, misused people, bad drafting. But you need a guy that, like, when it comes down to you, like if it's bottom of the 9th and there's a man on first, Aaron Judge, for all his home runs, he'd bunt. Like, he's gonna just get you the extra thing. Yeah. And Jackson Dart, at least after his first game, and I don't want to speak too soon, seems like if they're down by 3 with a minute and a half left and he's on the, you know, their own 30, he's gonna gunsling. He's like, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find every gap. If I have to run, if I have to break my own ankle, I'm gonna get down the field and get us there.
I would be very happy if he ended up having, his longevity with the Giants. If he ends up how Baker Mayfield is now.
Yeah.
I know a lot of teams gave up on Baker Mayfield and whatnot, but Baker Mayfield is always keeping the Bucs in the game. He almost had
100%.
another game-winning touchdown drive this weekend. And I know like the Bucs identity is probably like, hey, we're going to just ride Baker's coattails till the wheels fall off. But I mean, he's found a home and a system down there where he's thriving.
Works.
So you kind of hope with these pieces, with the Scadaboo, with Neighbors, with Dart, and then on the defensive side, Abdul Carter is going to come in his own, but Brian Burns is a beast. Like, you hope that they're finding something. I would be fine if they won 6 or 7 games this year. You don't have to do double digits, but like just show some fight. Show some fight against the Eagles. Like that's all I want because it's going to take time.
I said when we were downstairs, if they can just about break even, and even in the games they lose, if they like if they lose to the Eagles, but it's like 21-18 or 21-20, and they were like really in there against basically a Super Bowl team that's been really unchanged. I don't know how many big moves the Eagles have done in the offseason. I didn't pay that much attention to them.
They lost a lot of players, but
Defense.
Everyone's like next man up mentality.
So if they can just do that, then I think Daboll survives, and I think the GM survives because Daboll really he went after Jackson Dart. That was a really weird pick. Everyone was like, "What are you doing?" Shedeur Sanders and all these other guys. So if their gut feeling works out even in the short term of like, all right, so we did this, we have Neighbors back next year, off season, we're still probably going to be higher up in the draft because if they break even, they're not going to be like a playoff team. Grab a few more pieces. Listen, I'm okay. Like I don't have expectations for the Giants to be like a Chiefs or an Eagles or a Patriots where they have like this long reign of dominance. I'm hoping for like a Flacco in the Ravens kind of era. Or I don't mean to compare him to this highly, but or a Drew Brees with the Saints. Obviously, he's not going to be a Drew Brees, but really good quarterback that there's always a chance they can win this game.
Yeah.
You never go into a game being like, oh, we're going to get absolutely wrecked. There's a guy on the team that maybe you win a Super Bowl, maybe you get deep in a couple playoffs. That's my expectation for the Giants that I think is attainable right now. And we'll see how he blossoms up, and also hope he doesn't get hurt.
I like the comparison of Baker Mayfield, though, because it's like they have that attitude and that edge that I think a lot of people, obviously, in the NFL probably miss, especially as QB. And he's awesome, man.
Mayfield definitely has that chip on his shoulder of they made fun of me. I was with the Browns. it was so embarrassing that I never really got to show what I can do.
He was playing defense in practice for the Panthers. Him and Darnold. Darnold was in the same situation as Mayfield, and Darnold's not. He's winning and he's looking good, but Baker has that like the one clip against the Texans. He was on the ground hurt. Someone was chirping at him and he jumped right right back up what injury, and we're just going at them. I mean, I want that for New York teams. You guys watch a quarter or a few minutes of a Knicks game, and you watch when Brunson turns it on. He's a soft-spoken nice kid, but when he's on the court, he's tearing your ankles apart.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I don't watch enough baseball to see who that might be, but I feel Aaron Judge. He appears to be very soft-spoken. Doesn't let too many things rattle him.
He's a stud.
But when the time comes, he will rip your heart out. And I think that's
absolutely.
what New York. That's what I like about New York teams or big city teams. You have that one guy on each of your teams that will be that, and I think Dart could definitely be that player. I just don't want Giants fans to if he has one bad game, he's still
you don't want the
rookie.
DeVito treatment where they're all hot on him, when you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
See, New York teams, especially when you talk about the Yankees, but I think in general, even though our other teams haven't always performed at a super high level, New York teams are never seen as an underdog, and we don't want to be seen as an underdog. No. But what New York teams love is a dog.
Yes.
New York teams love you put a dog in the fight. Jalen Brunson, you put a dog in the fight. Again, even if they lose, but if they were going up against the Lakers with LeBron and Luka in it now, and they lost 3 games to 2 and it came down to like the final buzzer. Like Knicks fans are like, all right, we had a guy in there who was just ragdolling, and he was just.
And that's kind of what I saw with Dart when he was in. I was never like, oh, this is going to be a shit show. I felt like
under control.
He let the game he dictated the pace of that. When the pocket was collapsing, he stepped up and he ran. Yeah, right? Like it was just very. But also, you can't really, the defense really stepped up too, because Herbert's not a joke.
He's not a chump.
Yeah, so like the defense kind of stayed there, and I think that's the identity I've seen through the first 4 games for the Giants, is that their defense is good. Take out the Cowboys game where it was just offensive going back and forth. That was fun to watch.
That was great.
That was fun. So maybe the Giants were adapting to like how the Cowboys play more so, where they just have to get as many points, and defense is kind of.
Well, I think the defense is also. Listen, obviously the goal of the defense is to like stop them on every set, like every time you want. Like that's the ultimate goal. But you need something to fight in there. And if you're winning 21-18 and the defense goes out, it's like, all right, guys, it's on you. Like, now is your time. If you do a stop here, like, now it's on. If you're losing 30-10 and it's another set, it's like, all right, I'm going to try to stop them. But, like, not who cares, but, like, kind of, like, we already lost. Like, there's nothing. We have no one on the other side that's going to be able to regain this. So, like, why am I going to go out there and really... I don't know if that's overall the mentality, but I do know that giving them a little extra of, like, you have something to fight for now. You have something that you guys can fight for.
But even, like, for the rookies, who's the linebacker you just drafted?
Carter,
Abdul Carter. He looked great. Like he had a bunch of pressures this past week, and like he was like cutting inside, like doing different like little like schemes and blitzes. I'm like, dude, he looked really fast. And
I feel like the Giants finally have these pieces together.
They're just missing a couple things on offense.
Yes,
obviously, that's the biggest issue.
I think you need, unfortunately, it does happen because I feel like through 4 weeks there's way too many injuries. But yeah, who's now going to be the number 1 now that Neighbors is out?
Yeah.
Like Wan'Dale Robinson, I like him, but he's not a 1. So who's going to step up for that? So I think you definitely need more pieces on offense.
Yeah, but you got to, again, I'm not trying to do unrealistic comparisons here, but the Chiefs have 2 Super Bowl wins and a 3rd Super Bowl appearance without a true number 1 at wide receiver. And without a Patrick Mahomes that was like the gunslinger of his youth. So, like, if you have a good plan in place and you have a guy who's going to get you yards, you don't need a Tyreek Hill or Malik Neighbors.
Give me a good tight end, because a lot of quarterback, like Kyler Murray loves McBride, his tight end.
Yeah.
Like a lot of young quarterbacks rely, and even you look at Mahomes relying on Travis Kelce. There's one play against the Eagles in week 3. They were showing the replay, and I feel like this happens every game. I'm just new to seeing it. Mahomes threw the ball before Kelce turned around at the end of his route. So he just had that trust in Kelce, like he's going to turn around at this moment. Kelce turned around, caught it, like got a few, 8 or 9 like yards after catch.
Yeah,
that's the chemistry you have to build.
Yeah, and also depending on timing of the game, 1 first down at a time. Like if you're going to do a short, quick route to your tight end, get the first down. Like it's the same thing with baseball that I think Aaron Judge, even though he had a lot of homers this year, is realizing. That's why he changed how he hits the past couple of years. It's not always a home run. A single is way more likely, way easier to get, and sometimes way more important. Get guys on base. Move the chains down the field. That's 1 play at a time. I moved it down. I don't need to be slinging 60-yard touchdown unless it's like 40 seconds left. Then you got to pull out all the stops.
Right.
But if they have a guy, and that's what I like about Dart, is pockets collapsing. I don't see anyone that obvious. All right, I'm just going to pick up 3 or 4 yards. I moved it down the field, and that's so important.
Maybe that's how Russell Wilson was back in the day, and it's a lot of these quarterbacks who were younger, and obviously you're losing a step, but I don't know, like this season, Russell Wilson was putting up some good numbers, but there are times where he looked like a shell of himself.
Yeah.
And everyone said ever since he's left Seattle, and even towards the tail end of his tenure there, he just hasn't looked the same. But I don't know.
I mean, he's still a rookie, and I think the one thing that I love most about like these QBs, especially seeing Jalen Hurts, and then also who's the quarterback from the Bills? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
What I find the most fascinating, like these guys, like after their rookie year, they worked with like guys who specialize in QB throwing, so they have like more hip torque and they're not all shoulder. Because like after games, Josh Allen was having like crazy shoulder pain. Jalen Hurts, his like throw mechanics are a little off. So he worked with these specialists, and now they're super efficient, way more accurate, way more powerful because they're actually using their legs instead. And it just completely changed the whole dynamic of their game.
Josh Allen reminds me of like a quarterback I would create on Madden.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's
a man rocket for sure.
But like his height, his speed when he can run. Like,
Handsome. Hallie Steinfeld.
She's so lucky.
Yeah,
she's so lucky.
She's really lucky. Let's quickly, if you guys don't mind, the Jets. It was like the Jets have actually, I think, this year shown so much potential, and yet they're 0-4. But I actually think
I haven't seen any potential at all. I'll be quite honest with you. Dude, I'm going to be a straight shooter with you. I didn't see one thing.
They have lost really close games by dumb mistakes, which is, I think, different than getting your ass kicked because you don't have the talent.
Yeah.
And I think Justin Fields, had a pretty good game yesterday, over 200 yards and a touchdown. Like, that was more than Aaron Rodgers was really doing. Like, I think they have some pieces there, but what's the coach's name?
Aaron Glenn.
Like, he went off on them after the game. And it's the same. And my mom said this about the Giants, too, which pissed her off because it really... There's been a lack of discipline on the New York teams, really since like the Tom Coughlin era.
You lack discipline.
Of like, especially penalties, dude. They had, 13 penalties yesterday.
But also
two turnovers.
The Jets come out of the half and they turn the ball. Yeah, they turn the ball right over at the start of the third quarter. It's like...
But I think they again, they lost against Pittsburgh, but I think they put on, like, they're not getting annihilated. No, yesterday they definitely should have won, especially when I don't know when Tyreek got hurt. Like what
third quarter, I think.
Like they kept it a close game against a team that I would think, even though they haven't really won this year, but like is overall between Akane, the running back.
Yeah, Tyreek,
mm-hmm. Tua when he's not like and McDaniels is like a pretty good strategist. Like you had a pretty solid team in Miami that I think on paper should have destroyed the Jets. Instead, the Jets destroyed themselves, but they still, even with that, they kept it within one score.
That franchise has worn Mike McDonald down, dude. You see how he looks now?
Not good.
No.
Not good at all.
He doesn't look good at all. I saw a stat yesterday that blew my mind. Aaron Glenn, if he goes 0-5, he's the first Jets head coach ever in franchise history to go 0-5.
Man.
Who are they playing next week? I think they're playing Dallas.
Yeah, they're actually
we're in Dallas?
No, I think we're.
Oh, they're here.
We're in MetLife, yeah.
But that's saying something considering how many bad coaches the Jets have had.
Yeah,
Adam Gase.
That sucks, dude.
Yeah,
we're in MetLife at 1.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I do kind of the way Nick broke it down. I kind of see what he's saying now because they're just making a lot of mental errors. Like they only lost by 2 to the Bucs, 4 to the Steelers. Yesterday they lost, I think, ended up losing by 6. I think sometimes they just kind of they fall behind too early in the game, or they'll fall behind in the second half because they make mistakes and then they look promising. But it's just if they didn't make those mistakes, maybe it could have ended in a better.
If they didn't have those 2 turnovers yesterday, they're winning that game.
But Fields, I don't,
He's doing okay.
He's doing okay. Yeah. He got hurt last week. He got to come back from that.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad.
Did anyone see Aaron Glenn's dance on the sideline against the Bucs 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, that was nice.
That was hilarious.
That was awesome.
Like that he's bringing a little fire. Like I think you need that sometimes.
He's a player's coach. He's great.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Cincinnati.
Oh.
Because do you think, I don't know how long Burrow's out for.
3 months.
3 months?
Do you think Joe Burrow goes the way of Andrew Luck?
It's starting to head that direction because he actually has more sacks than Andrew Luck. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be crazy.
But that's 2.
That's
2 seasons of like him out almost the entire season, or like enough of a chunk of the season like you can't really mount a thing.
No,
like that's 2 whole seasons, and he's only been playing for what, 5?
Yeah, he's still young, dude.
2/5 of your seasons have been out with injury. Like, and they're doing a terrible job of trying to, like, they're building around him, and like they have the offensive weapons, their line, like they just
That's always been
can't
an issue.
protect him, and he's obviously fragile.
Here's
And
the scary part too: is like Andrew Luck is like bigger and probably actually bigger and heavier than he is, and he is already out of the NFL. Like he ended his career pretty early. So imagine that for someone like him.
So, do you think it was clearly he was just afraid of where his body was going, or do you think that like also not? Because I didn't really know what his record was in the NFL. I don't know if he was winning games, if these Colts teams were doing well, or were they like average? And he's like, I'm sacrificing my body for
what?
For what? I don't want to demand a trade. He doesn't seem like he'd be that, but like, how much are you going to sacrifice your body? Like, Burrow's been there. Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. He's beaten the Chiefs on the road. I think, I don't know, and this is not a knock against Andrew Luck by any means. You wonder if just like mentally he was just like, I can't do this.
So this was his last
versus Burrow being like, I'll die out there. I've seen clips of him. I don't know if you've seen that clip on Instagram where he's telling his head coach to his face, "We effing suck." Like it was after a game. He's like, "No, brutal. This is BS." Like there was that one. He didn't say a player. He was like, there was 7 penalties, 8 drops. Like he was. I think he's hungry. I think they are really hungry to figure it out. You know, him and Jamar Chase are boys. Like they went to college together.
This was his last season in 2018. He was 10-6, 67% completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 39 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 98.7 rating.
Jeez.
That was his last season.
Yeah, he was very good.
But the year before that, he was out the entire year with an injury. Year before that, he missed 1 game for an injury. Year before that, he missed 8 games because of an injury.
Yeah.
So his last, 3 of his last 4 years were like injury prone, and he was still putting up like decent numbers so the year before, even though he missed a game, he 4,000 yards with 31 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, 96 rate. Like he was always very good.
Yeah, it is kind of amazing how certain players in most sports, but like obviously we're sticking to football, just how they were able to sustain like a healthy career.
Yeah,
I mean, getting hurt on turf is one thing, but like especially quarterbacks, like the one person I think who needs to absolutely retire tomorrow,
Joe Flacco.
Well, yeah,
Joe Flacco,
Joe Flacco, Tua for sure.
Yeah, I think Tua needs to because I think he's one bad hit away from dying on the field.
I think
when his hands, dude,
so
can't do it.
I know concussions are different because I think concussions wasn't something that was like accurately tracked before. All these other injuries, and I see it. I've been seeing it like in basketball as I've been kind of watching it really since I watched The Last Dance. But I do think that there is something in how guys are training now. Because, like, listen, no matter what, like, there's certain injuries that, like, the older guys would have just played through. You tear an ACL, you tear an ACL. Like, there's no grit that can make you play with a torn ACL.
It's becoming more common in basketball, though.
But even in the NFL, like, why is it? Montana never tore his ACL.
Did you see the clip with Gruden? What I sent you? Because I sent it to you. You probably don't listen or watch anything I
always
sent
watch
you.
things.
But he was saying that because of all the regulations now of the NFL with these players and they're trying to protect their assets, they're not as physical as they used to be in practice. They only have 3 preseason games, and they're nowhere even close to where they were like in practices in the 90s and early 2000s. So because they're not sustaining those type of like regular hits in practice, he thinks it's actually impacting their bodies and like their, I guess their preparedness. Yeah. I can't think of the word for the actual games and like that type of intensity that they're putting their bodies through. I think, and the one thing is I just want to say this too. During the preseason, I remember the 1 year, I think it was during COVID in 2020 when they removed all preseason games. Yep. There was a shit ton of injuries that year, and I think it had to do with like not having the lack of preseason games. Yep. Yeah. I think there's got to be a correlation there.
It's building calluses on your body, not actual physical like calluses on your hand, but it's toughening up your body.
It's getting acclimated for that intensity.
If you're getting hit one way constantly for like 6 months and you're doing the proper training and you're taking care of it, when time comes for the actual season, your body will be used to getting hit like that. Again, concussions are a different thing. I have a stupid
question though. It might be stupid, but like for instance, like you see MMA like fighters, they're constantly training like that, so they're prepared for the fight, right? So they're getting their body.
Yeah, they also there's certain injuries that like you cannot perform. A torn ACL, you can't walk.
No, you can't do shit.
You know, you bust up your knee, you can't
but
walk.
you're still building up your ligaments for that.
I have,
active,
but also I will say, UFC guys, I have never seen a UFC fighter go into a fight healthy. Like after every single announcement, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I broke my toe like 2 days ago." I've seen guys fight with staph infections.
Jesus.
Like UFC guys go in, but you also got to remember that like they don't fight, they don't get paid.
Yeah.
There's no like injured reserve and like, oh, you're on a salary. It's like if I need to not only fight but like win. If I don't win, you know, low guys are making like 30 and 30, so 30 to show, 30 to win. So if I break my thumb and I'm like, I'm not going to fight, well, I just lost $60,000 that like I don't have because I only get paid when I fight and win. Yeah, there's some sponsorships in it or whatever. So they're much more willing to go in there and like take it because like, listen, even if my elbow is fucked up and I'm probably going to lose this fight, I'll get my 30 or 40 grand for just showing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think you should have those kind of regulations. Like you can't really punish guys like that, but I do think the NBA is the worst when it comes to like the load management stuff, and that's been a constant complaint from some of the old heads, which I am fully on board with. The NFL, I think we even talked about it last year. I think and that's what we talked about with Aaron Rodgers. I think preseason, you know, he didn't play at all in that preseason when he got hurt. Like that was like his first couple of throws.
It's crazy,
and he tears his leg apart.
Well, that was the whole point. This preseason was the Bengals wanted to start most of their starters because the last 3 or 4 years they have come out
very slow,
0-4, 1-3, very slow. So they thought that, all right, if you're going to play in the preseason, you're going to get some momentum, and I like that mindset.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, I remember even like, you know, when they had 4 preseason games, it was always the third game where you were going to see starters for the first half.
Right.
You know, so if I went to a Jets-Giants preseason game for really cheap, you're going to see the starters there. Now it's a series.
It's a series.
Now,
it should,
if that.
Yeah.
You know?
And really, like, no one except for Sanders' one son, like no one really goes all out in a preseason game anyway. So like, if you want to get like your quarterback some reps, especially if it's like a new quarterback to your team, like Aaron Rodgers was to the Jets. Preseason is the perfect time where he can mesh on routes and everything, where it's realistic enough, but you know, no one's really gonna like sack him hard. Right. Like no one's gonna like knock somebody out of bounds. Like there's no reason to do that, and most guys kind of abide by that rule in preseason.
Right.
That's the best time for you to do it. Like get him in there now.
They got to find a balance. Like there's got to be a healthy balance between like obviously protecting your assets, they don't get injured in practice or in preseason, but obviously there's got to be something there where they can play a little bit more and just get their body ready for this.
I think practice is where you
even
build
like,
your identity, you build your
because like dude, like even like back in the day with like AstroTurf, like that shit was like playing on cement, and you didn't see half of these friggin' injuries that you do now.
Because I think that's what I think Gruden is right. I think, you know, you not that it's, I'm not comparing it to it, but I'm coaching now, and I always try to translate, the other coach and I always try and translate, you like practice should be like game speed. Like you should pretend like you are playing a game. You can't go into practice kind of lollygag, F around, and expect to go and play at like a high level of competition.
All right.
That just doesn't work, and that's just youth sports right there. So talk about college or talk about pros. If you are doing walkthroughs, you know, you could analytically try to prepare for a Nick Bosa or Fred Warner. But if you are not going up against your defense, who may have someone who's similar to him, you're not going to be able to simulate that. Like watching it on TV, watching plays on TV, that's not going to prepare you mentally to be like, how am I going to...
there's also a conditioning aspect. Listen, rest days are incredibly important, and I'll say UFC because that's what I follow a lot. Every UFC fighter knows that, like, me just training for 12 hours every day is not going to win me the fight. And there's plenty of guys who have had complete changes in their career when they've realized that. Michael Bisping is a big one who came back and ended up being UFC champion because he realized that, like, early in his career, he was just, in the 90 days before a fight, he was training 90 straight days. And so he would get into a fight and he was exhausted. Like, his body was just exhausted. So rest days are important. But from a conditioning perspective, like, think of it like soccer. If you're not playing full speed 90-minute practices, when the first game of the season comes and it's full speed for 90 minutes, you're done. You're wiped. And you know who's going to be victorious? I think about what was the hockey movie?
Miracle.
Miracle.
Ugh.
Those guys, he's like, I'm going to kill you now. So when the game comes and they're dying, you're like, oh, this is just like Tuesday. It's
So
the same thing.
It was the same thing with the NHL right now because they cut back their preseason games and added, I think, 2 or 3 more games to the NHL season. So that's what they're saying. Like the teams that were in the playoffs last year have more of an advantage at the beginning of the year because they're more like trained, acclimated, and conditioned for those full-time games.
Yeah.
So it's gonna impact it too.
Yeah. Really quick, I want to. I think C.J. Stroud had a nice little comeback game.
Yes.
You know who did good? I'm gonna throw this out there, and I think you guys are gonna be pleasantly surprised. Carson Wentz, 30 for 46, 350 yards, 2 tutties, and then 2 interceptions.
Wow.
Yeah,
But 350, I know but still like 350
when you're
for 2
gunslinging
touchdowns.
like that, you're gonna get a couple.
Yeah,
of
that's still pretty damn good for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Has there been any surprises, good or bad, in the first 4 weeks of the season that you're kind of like
The Ravens
scratching your head? Yeah, that's a good one.
The Ravens is really
Ravens
bad.
is very upsetting.
Ravens
yeah.
is
Their
really
defense
upsetting.
is depleted, but yeah, like 1-3.
I don't know who did they beat.
The Browns,
Oh, okay.
but I think barely. I think
Yeah.
like maybe by a touchdown.
I mean, Mahomes put up like old Mahomes numbers
Yeah.
in that game. Like
Yeah.
I think he had 4 touchdowns. Like
He looked like himself, but also
Yeah.
what's his name? Rashid Rice is back, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so that
yeah,
definitely
but
helped.
actually Xavier Worthy got a majority of the
really quickly, did you guys see the Colts Rams game
no,
with the wide receiver Adonai Mitchell?
no.
No.
Oh my God, he had 2 back-to-back bonehead plays that cost them the game.
Oh no,
The
that
first
sucks.
play, Daniel Jones airs it out, and Adonai Mitchell catches it like in the corner, like here, right?
Mhm.
Catches it's running, hits a juke spin move like you press circle on a PS3 controller. A circle, he spins, right? And he's gone. He brings up the ball to celebrate, and it slips out of his hand, and he's in sheer panic, and he grabs it in the back of the end zone for a touchback. Touchdown doesn't count.
Oh no.
Then the next, a few plays later, he gets called for an offensive holding when Jonathan Taylor breaks off for a touchdown
That sucks.
to take the lead both times.
Oh
He messed
my God.
up.
I saw that clip of him fumbling it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would be mortified to go on the team plane after that. And
That's
everyone's like,
brutal.
"Oh, it's not that, it's not that." But you have 2 critical plays that, you could have been up by 14. You would have been 4-0. You would have taken a commanding lead on that division because now the Colts and Jags are 3-1, and Jacksonville's going to Jacksonville. They're going to. Everyone says they try to find ways to lose every year. It's just.
It was just like who was the player on the Ravens in the playoffs? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Was it? I don't know. I want to say Flowers.
Yeah.
Zay
Yes, he
Flowers.
did the same thing.
Like he did, like just ruined the game.
Yeah.
Was it against the Chiefs or the Bills?
I think it was the Chiefs.
I think
at
it was the
home.
Chiefs. Yeah.
At home, yeah.
And then Stavi was not happy. But Stavi is Stavros is so depressed.
Yeah.
Do you follow Stavros?
Of course I do. He's great.
Yeah.
He's so freaking funny.
How do we lose?
I love the Delco accent,
Oh,
dude.
dude,
Oh
he's
my
so-
Yeah,
god.
the Delco accent, and then every video ends with how he's like, "I just think we should get back Joe Flacco."
Something about
that guy.
something about Joe Flacco that really speaks to me. No, I think it's been
good.
I think that's probably the biggest weird thing. Otherwise, the teams you think are going to do well, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles are doing well. I think there's this weird middle ground of Danny Jones and the Colts. Yeah, they lost, but I will say, I need Daniel Jones to lose.
Yeah.
My heart can't take what happened last year with Saquon. It just can't.
And if it's going to happen back-to-back years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl, but he can't have a good
No,
year. He
no.
just can't.
I'm surprised with the Bears. They're 2-2, and Caleb Williams is waking up a little bit and slinging that thing a little bit.
Every time I watch the Bears, I feel like they're just trash, and I can't believe they're 2-2.
It's funny.
Well,
It's
Ben
I hope it
Johnson,
continues.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson's,
he's...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy for them. I hope they continue to do this. And then this past week, Ashton Genty,
Yeah, Ashton Genty, yeah.
he decided to wake up,
Yeah.
but he went back to his old stance he had in college,
Yeah.
where he's basically just standing up in the
They
back.
say he
which
looks
I,
like Michael Myers.
I hate it, but
Really? Pete Carroll loves it.
I hate how he stands like
Yeah,
that.
Pete
but
Carroll's
he's,
like, I love it.
He looked like a bastard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like a bastard.
What would you do if... Because what position did you play?
I was fullback and linebacker.
All right. So if you saw a halfback like that as a linebacker, would that enrage you? Would that scare you if they're just standing there like that?
Well, if I saw that mutant stand across from me, I would be terrified. Yeah. So now I have to throw my body into this guy. Really?
Yeah.
Did you see this past weekend in Alabama when the lineman for the screen?
Yeah.
Can you imagine trying to stop that guy?
I saw a tweet saying, "Don't let Dan Campbell see this."
It's true.
Dude, could you imagine being a 130, like 6'1", 130 deep, like defensive back, and then you got the Green Mile standing right across from you.
Yeah, like he's gonna end you.
You have to, and you have to
tackle
try
this
to
mutant?
tackle that.
Like, ugh.
They only ran that once. Why not just have a extra, like, your secondary O lineman just be players from there in the slot? But that was crazy. That
was insane. It was insane.
I remember when your kid watched it and you're like, why the hell is Mike Vrabel catching touchdown passes as a tight end?
Yeah.
And then they would line up J.J. Watt, like, but this is crazy.
What do you think about the 49ers? He didn't have a terrible game. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he's 309 yards, 2 touchdowns.
There's such an interesting. They seem to be like this the last few years. A major player gets hurt before week 1 or during week 1, and they're kind of surviving. Like they barely lost to the Jaguars. They're kind of surviving, and then everyone's back healthy, and then they make a run for it. I think it's interesting because like McCaffrey's healthy now, but Kittle's out, and Brock Purdy I think is still hurt, and Bosa's out. But you have them where they're just kind of always hurt and in limbo, but always sticking around.
It's good coaching.
I feel like but I also feel like that's
the next man up. That's
the 49ers. Like I was like, and the Cowboys, maybe not like in terms of the injuries, but like Green Bay too. There are always teams that I don't know if it's ownership because the Cowboys ownership, you can say what you want about them, but they're always like in the hunt. They're never just like this is the worst team in the NFC East or the worst team in the West. They're always like somehow they always compile some collection of mutants to get you a playoff game.
Yeah,
I love the word mutants, by the way.
Like you said,
that's what they are.
It's coaching and it's the atmosphere around there too.
Yeah,
I mean. I do think, and I'm not just saying this because Derek's here, the Cowboys do scare me because Dak,
they scare me too, not in the same way. Yeah.
But Dak Prescott made some throws Sunday night where I was like, man, people really think he's washed right now. He made one throw where he was rolling out to the right.
Yeah.
Almost got sacked. Yeah, and Tolbert came back and like caught it and like went out of bounds.
That was an insane catch.
Like, but that throw, like,
it was insane.
I couldn't imagine getting a throw off when anyone bigger than me is running after me. I'd be like, no, like how do you throw it? Like you have to have that composure. And he had some really nice passes that night.
That's like probably my biggest surprise. Like I know I'm a fan, obviously, so I'm like whatever, but I'm very surprised how well their play calling is with Brian Schottenheimer because like he's been doing a phenomenal job. But because at the beginning of the year I'm like, why the hell would they hire this guy? But like, dude, watching like he is awesome. Like his play calling, he's spreading the ball really well. It's been great. And even our running back too, Williams, Javonte Williams, he looks great,
dude. He's
ripping it up.
Yeah, he was pretty decent in Denver, but
he was, but then he got injured.
But now he's every back. Time I was watching the game, I feel like he's picking up like every carry.
And he's like so freaking physical. That guy.
I know the Steelers shouldn't care about they're doing well, so they shouldn't really care about Pickens. But Pickens is
he's a stud,
dude.
Stud.
How you let him go so you could have him and Metcalf? Like I don't know. I'm not a Steelers fan. Steelers, they have enough success, so I don't really care. But to have him and Metcalf would have been great because Pickens is.
I think
I love watch. Like he's on my fantasy team, so like I watch him play. I love watching him play. I know people say he's kind of like a head case.
That's what they were saying with like him. They had to just get him out of there because it just wasn't mentally good for the entire team.
Some of the catches he had
he's a freak.
On Sunday alone, and then he's just I don't know. He's a I don't know. I think skill wise, body wise, prototypical wide receiver that you 100%. Want. And I think having him pair along is CD out for the year?
No, he's out for another 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
He's just a high ankle sprain.
I lost fantasy by 3 points, so now I'm 1-3. Wasn't happy about it. There was nothing I could have done. It's one of those things where, like, even if I put guys on the bench in the game, they weren't going to get it.
There's weeks like that.
But I got to tell you,
last week though,
who the most disappointing for me this year has been Brian Thomas Jr. he hasn't been.
Is that on the Jaguars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gotten me.
Yeah,
he's always projected like mid to high double digits. He's gotten me 9, 8.9, 7.5, and then 10.6 yesterday.
He was on the same. He was wide receiver 2 with Malik Neighbors at LSU.
Yeah.
He was a rookie last year. Yeah.
So this week, I don't know who I'm playing, but
who do you blame? Him or do you blame Trevor Lawrence? I don't know where I stand on Trevor Lawrence.
They're 3-1, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know.
that, right?
What, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know
they're
where I
going up
stand
against
on
Kansas
Trevor.
City, so.
I don't know where I stand on Trevor Lawrence.
They're 3-1.
Everyone thinks he's the worst quarterback to ever come out in the past 10 years.
I disagree.
Because he was so great at Clemson. I mean,
I think he's a good quarterback on a bad team.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a good enough quarterback to move forward a bad team. Like, there are certain quarterbacks that you could have put in a lot of different situations. I mean, I think you look at your Brady's or whatever, like you can kind of plop him into like a not so good team and he'll at least get you a couple,
if
get
you
you the
swap
wins.
him and CJ Stroud, is Houston winning more or is Jacksonville winning more?
I think Houston.
Because Houston has more weapons.
This year, I think it's
I
tough.
like Stroud.
Because I like his first year, Stroud was lights out, and then I think last year he took last 2 years, or was it just last year?
I think just last year.
Last year took a big dump. Now he did lose some of his weapons last year. I think Nico Harris was out, and what's his name? The guy that they got,
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs was out. But I mean, look at the.
They're 0-3.
Who's
Can't believe
the? If you look at it, like name the big wide receivers recently. And then name the big quarterbacks. How many of them are on the teams of the big quarterbacks? Who's Patrick Mahomes' best receiver? Like, does he have an all-star receiver? The Bills. I mean, you have Coleman and you have what's his name?
Allen.
No, but like, who's their wide receiver? Their other wide receiver for the Bills.
Shakir.
Like exactly.
They also have Stephon Diggs. Yeah.
Yeah, and they just won.
Diggs is on the Patriots now.
Oh my God!
But
Thank you.
the Bills just won like 31-16, and we don't even really know like who's their number one. So like I don't know how important having star-studded wide receivers is. Just because like it's obviously it helps, but like
looks good for the Rams because Nakua is averaging 10 catches a game already.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, but the Bills' offense too. Like James Cook is a phenomenal running back, so they have a good balance.
I do think running backs are becoming more important.
I feel like the Texans are built to have that balance of you have Chubb and Mixon running it, and then you have Nico Collins and Tank Dell, but Tank Dell is out again. Or Tank Dell is still recovering from the injury, and that's CJ's boy. Like that, they had a great connection. So it's like,
and Joe Mixon's probably gonna be out for the year, from what I'm reading now.
Suspended or just hurt?
No, hurt.
Hurt. Yeah.
He's not because he's not recovering well. Apparently, his physical therapy has been really tough. So it sucks.
Who are the Giants up against? We have to wrap it up. Who are the Giants up against next week?
The Giants Saints.
Saints. That's actually without Neighbors.
They're in New Orleans, right?
They're in New Orleans.
Without Neighbors, that's a good game for Jackson Dart because you don't have.
He can light it up.
Yeah, he can. Like you can light it up with subpar
in the Superdome.
You know, with subpar guys. So let's see how that works out for him. Yeah, I think there's always this constant back and forth. I think we had like a wide receiver era with like your Justin Jeffersons and your Tyreek Hills. I think it's swinging back around. You see how important McCaffrey is. You see how important Saquon was to actually winning them the Super Bowl last year. You see how somebody like Scatterbo on the Giants can really, he's not like getting 400 yards a game, but he's pushed him in the right direction. You see Cook on the Bills. Yeah. I think there was that kind of those couple of years where running backs were like, don't spend a lot of money on them. They're going to get hurt. Derrick Henry is still like,
he's an anomaly though.
Yeah, but like I think you're starting to get back to like, hey, running backs really do matter. Like you can't just have this shootout where like everything's being thrown all the time because defenses are catching up. The guys who were the big gunslingers, there's not a lot of 350-yard games anymore. Patrick Mahomes doesn't have 300-yard games anymore, and they're still winning. It's all about balance, and I think we're seeing the shift now from big-time wide receivers to like, you got to make sure your running back is going to get you those 5 or 6 yards that you need, and also the running back as a receiving threat for short route, and incorporating tight ends. I think wide receivers are going to be not fizzled out, but like take a little bit more of a
There's going to be
backseat.
more of a balance.
Yeah, when you have these other options to throw
I
at.
agree, because Josh Jacobs and Jameer Gibbs have helped me in fantasy. So
Jameer Gibbs was a big game for me. I still fucking lost. Even though Bo Nix did have a lights out game. Bo Nix did tremendous. But now he's got to play. I think he's playing the Eagles this week, and I have Aaron Rodgers on the bench, and he's bye. He's on a bye this week, so I'm kind of stuck with what I got.
What are you smoking?
I'm smoking the Knuckle Punch, Espinosa Knuckle Punch.
Because this was a knuckle punch to Russell Wilson's career.
Yeah, no,
Love it.
yeah, it
Nice.
was a knuckle punch for Jackson Dart coming in. What are you smoking?
Ferrotego Elegancia. It was blue, so
Because
Giants.
that tie game was so elegant.
Nah, it was the opposite of elegant. So
I'm taking a little bit of a break from smoking because I want to reset my palate here. I do this every couple of months. But next week I will probably be joining with another cigar. 2 weeks because you're up in you're going way up there, huh?
Yeah, going to Maine.
Going to Maine.
nice.
I like doing these every once a month so we can recap the season.
It's really
Wait,
handsome.
next time we record, Giants are at 500, and I have some hope going into the fall.
Let's see. Knock on wood. But thank you for organizing this, Chris. Thank you for coming up, Derek. Thank you, Tyler, in the back. He doesn't even know what football is.
He knows his pumpkin beers, though.
Probably on TikTok.
He knows it's pumpkin beers for sure.
It's on his TikTok.
He's just looking at us. He doesn't know what's going on. He just knows we mentioned his name. He's just staring at us with that mustache. All right. Thank you all very much for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always,
Keep it lit.
keep it lit.
Lit.